everybody and welcome back. I am here to do a little bit more crafting for my Autumn Days journal, and I'm playing around with wax seals. So recently I received an order from Papercrafts, and this was one of the mats that I had ordered. I did have a teeny play around with it in the unboxing video, but I wanted to play with it a bit further and see how I could use this with my wax seals. So I have already got my burners going up to the top of the screen here, just so obviously we're not just waiting for the wax to melt. I will speed certain bits up because it does take a little while for the wax to kind of get heated. But yeah, I just wanted to have a little bit of play around with the wax seals and see how I could use those in my journals. Now this mat is designed to kind of give you that perfect circle. Now when I had a play around during the unboxing, it greatly depended on the size of the wax seal. So I've got these two here, which are an inch in diameter. So both of those are an inch in diameter, and I found with those ones I needed 5 wax beads to be able to fill this circle. So this circle is just under 1.5 inches. So this larger wax seal, which is about 1.25 inches, I found I only needed 4 wax beads to be able to get it to fill. When I did 5, then I found I had a kind of rim around it, which isn't a huge problem because obviously you can trim that off if you wanted to. But I just thought for ease, 4 seems to be a good amount to kind of get it to spread to the edges. Right, so I do have my waxes ready. So I'm starting with red, and I've got my mushroom stamp, which I actually got last time. So I'm just going to pour that in here. Now I did say last time one thing I need to buy is a kind of scoop to kind of get all of that wax out. That's probably going to be on my next wish list. So I'm going to put that spoon back. I'm going to pop my mushrooms in, and as you can see, as that kind of spreads around, that will then fill out in that circle. So while that's doing that, I'm going to put my next lot in. So as I say, for these smaller ones I'm using 5 beads. For my larger thanks one, I only have 4 in here, and that's because where it's such a large stamp, it does push all of the wax to the edge quite nicely. Now I am using slightly different beads for this, so looking at it I'm not even sure that 4 is going to be enough. We will see. So this is my thanks. And let's put the next ones in. Okay, so I am going to speed up this process a little bit because obviously these need to cool and that's still melting. So I'll be back in just a moment. Right, okay, so I'm going to start off with the mushroom one. So I'm going to pull that one out. And as you can see, it has created a slight lip on that side, but that's fine because we can always take that off. But this does just come off really, really nicely. And we've got a good impression. And as you can see, it's almost a brilliant, perfect circle. So if you're looking for that kind of shape, having that perfect circle, then this is absolutely ideal. I am going to trim off that extra little bit. But I think that was my fault. I think I pushed it forwards, so it kind of pushed it up along the edge. But yeah, you can just snip off, obviously, the wax that you don't want. Okay. So that's one. Let's have a look how the other one is doing. Now, as I said, I did use different wax beads, and I don't think they're as large as these ones, so it hasn't gone all the way to the edge, but I've still got a nice impression, so I'll keep that one. But yeah, I think I needed different ones, so these are slightly bigger, so this is the one I'm going to test in a moment. I'm going to do my tree next, so let's pour that in. There are my mushrooms. That's my tree. Okay, so I'm going to try the mushrooms again with this one. And I'm going to try and spread the wax out around the circle as I can. So it's kind of already spreading out in the mould. So let's try the mushrooms again. Yeah, I think this probably isn't working. I'm using the same wax beads that I use for this, and they're not very good. These ones are so much better, so I think that's what's wrong with that one. But that's okay. Right, let's use these ones, and then hopefully they'll be a bit better for that thanks. Okay, so let's have a little look. I'm going to move this one first. So that's my tree, and I think that one's come out really lovely. I like that one. So that's another good one. And again, we've got that perfect circle. If you do not like that perfect circle, then this probably isn't for you. I am thinking that these circles are possibly too large for mine, because most of mine are this size, so they are only 1 inch. So that does give you a very, very wide rim. Again, you can cut that rim off, it's not a problem, but yeah, it kind of just depends on what look you're going for. This one, as I said, it's not going to spread properly. It's because it's the same wax that I used for this one, so that one doesn't seem to be very good or suitable for these. It just doesn't have the same thickness and spread. Okay, so this one was my mushroom. I was going to try, no, not my mushroom. I've done 2 mushrooms. This is going to be my tree. So let's do a tree again. I'm just trying to get as much wax out as I can. And that's a mushroom. There's a tree. So let's pop that in there. And then I also have my thanks. So this is using the other wax bead. So we'll see if this is any better. I don't know if my table is wonky, and that's why it's not kind of spreading around. If my table's not level, that could also be a factor. But yeah, no, see that lip's come right up. Yeah, this doesn't seem to work for the large ones, but it's also too big for the small ones. So yeah, I don't think this is going to be very useful for that. So yeah, for my wax seals, I'm not sure, I'm not convinced on this at the moment. It works well, it does what it's supposed to do, but I think the problem are the wax beads. So 4s are, well, still seems to be too much for this large one. 4's too little for the smaller ones, but 5 I think is too much. So I mean, you have the option of trying to cut beads in half. I don't know. But yeah, at the moment, I'm not convinced that this is a tool I'll use too often. I may just have to have a little more of a play around with it. Okay, let's see how those look. So we've got this one first with the tree. I mean, again, it's quite nice, but it's just this lip seems too wide for me. So I think these circles are too big for this one. And then for my thanks, I mean, that's done much better than that one did. But again, I've got this huge lip here, so I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I'm not convinced by this. I have seen people use it and they've been very successful. So I think certainly the wax beads matter, because these two did not work very well and I used different wax beads for those. So clearly wax beads matter. But as I say, I just think it's going to take more playing around to maybe just get it absolutely right. But yeah. Right, okay, what I thought I would try next is I want to use, I've got a jar of some of these paper leaves that you can buy. I think I got mine from the Works, possibly, or the Pound Shop. But I was thinking I might use some of these leaves and maybe a little bit of lace. So I've got this lovely lace that I got from Papercrafts as well, actually. So I'm just thinking I might just trim some of this. I've even got some of this leafy stuff, which might be quite cool to use. I've got a different bit of crochet. Right, so let's have a little bit of a play around. Also got this, which might be fun. Oh, right, okay, so let's have a play. So let's start off with sorting out what's going to go where. So let's turn that one over. So something like that, maybe. Okay, yeah, something like that. Right, okay, so let's have a little play then. I'm going to snip that off a little bit. Right, so I think, what do I want on here? So maybe I'll have a tree. So let's do some gold. Oh, and I'll pinch those browns. Because this is going over so much, I might use 5 beads. So I'll do another brown. Pop those in there. And then for the next one, maybe we can use a red for that one. So I've got red. And maybe some gold again. I do like the gold colours. And then for the red one, I've got some oranges. And then maybe some brown to go with it. Oh, I only did an extra one for that one, don't I? Because it's 5. Well, we'll see how this 5 goes before we start piling them in. Right, okay, so we're going to try again. I've got myself a little sort of palette knife, which I'm going to use to try and scrape out as much as I can. And I'm going to use the tree for this one. So I'm just going to pour it all over. Not sure how well this is going to work, because obviously it's a bumpy surface, but we will see. So make sure the tree is roughly the right way up and push it in. Okay, so I'm just going to put the next lot in, whoops, while we wait for that one to cool. So I am speeding this process up, so obviously you're not watching. But let's have a look how that looks. Oh, that's quite pretty. Oh, I like that. That's really nice. I mean, obviously my tree's not the right way up, but it could go like that, couldn't it? Yeah, I love that. So this is kind of what I was envisioning doing with these, because I wasn't sure how well the wax, because obviously this is a bumpy surface, I wasn't sure how well the wax would kind of work with that, but it's worked really well, hasn't it? So yeah, I'm really happy with that one. Okay, right, on to the next one then. So this one I'm going to do mushrooms. So let's put the tree away so I don't start stamping the wrong thing. We've got mushrooms. Let's try and whoops. Okay, so again I'm going to use my spatula to just kind of scrape everything out. That seemed to work okay last time. Oops. Something like that. And then mushrooms this way up. Squish it down. Right, okay, so let's have a look and see how that one has done. Oh, again, not too bad. I quite like that. I mean, we've got lots of wax oozed everywhere, but that's still kind of sealed everything in place. I like that. Okay, so there's another one. Right, last one then is going to be this one. And I'm going to use my larger stamp. I'm going to use the thanks. So we'll see how this one turns out. I think I'm just waiting for one more bead to just melt a bit. I'll just give that one more moment. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with how these turned out. Like I said, I'm going to have to, I mean, I said it in the unboxing video that I clearly just need to play around with that mat to try and find. But yeah, these are really good quality wax beads, and I've got a feeling I got these from Papercrafts as well ages ago. It's probably one of my first orders. And these are really good quality, and this is what I'm using now. The other ones did not work so well, so obviously the wax does make a difference. I mean, this one turned out really, really lovely. This is a lovely round shape and would look really great on these as well. But yeah, it's clearly going to need some practice. I certainly can't fault the quality of those silicone mats because they work just fine. It is just a trial and error of having the right wax beads, perhaps even having the right sized wax seal. That clearly makes a difference as well. So I certainly can't fault the mould. Right, let's see how this one's doing. So I'm going to try, this time I'm going to do a bit more of a circle rather than just a splodge. Try and scrape out as much as I can. Obviously this is a larger wax seal. Make sure it's the right way up and press. Okay, so let's just have a look at this last one. Oh, I had it upside down. So it goes that way. Still looks good. So we've still got thanks. Fabulous. I obviously wasn't reading that properly, was I? You probably saw it on the screen and were like, Suzanne, it's upside down, but never mind. Anyway, the leaf can look fine just like that as well. Right, so I think these have all worked really, really well. I'm just going to have a quick tidy up and a pack away, and then we'll come back and have a look at everything. And I might even go over these in a gold pen as well. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I've had a tidy up and this is how they're looking. I am really pleased with these. I think they look absolutely fabulous. And these are going to look fantastic in my autumn journal. Now, even these top ones, I mean, as I said, I might do a little bit of trimming around a couple of the edges, but the silicone mat has given them a nice circular shape. And these would also look great on top of these. So you can do a similar thing with these. As I've said a couple of times now, the wax definitely seems to make the difference, because these did not work very well. But even just freehanding it, I mean, these do look a little bit of a mess, but it's rustic, it's autumn, so I don't mind that at all. I have added a little bit of gold pen to them just to make the images stick out a little bit more. And I am, yeah, super happy with how they've turned out. So thank you very much to Papercrafts for sending me that mat to have a play around with, and for these crochet trims, because they look really nice with these clusters as well. I have got another idea of what I want to try with that mat, so I will be back with another video to do a different test with it. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you've got a little bit of inspiration here, and I will see you all in the next crafty video. Thank you very much now. Bye bye.